We're in the fourth quarter, OG. You know, fourth quarter of the football game big, but also fourth quarter of the year is big, especially when it comes to your tax planning. And you and I have a very special guest back who I feel like has done this for us the last few years. Ed Slott joins us. How are you, Ed?
Well, it's great to be back here. I even forgot I was here.
We do that all the time.
No offense taken.
What are the things that we need to be thinking about? If I'm your average Stacky Benjamins listener, what should I be focused on tax-wise here in the fourth quarter?
Well, taxes are everything. First of all, go back to your football analogy. You notice how in college and even in the pros, the games are now won or lost in the last 3 or 4 seconds. Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's my Lions are always on the bad side of that, Ed. So, yes, I know that painfully.
Yeah, okay. Well, sorry about that. Oh, when was the last time, just speaking about football, the Lions won the Super Bowl?
Oh, look at the time, Ed.
19
Wow.
never.
Yeah, well, tax planning's the same way. People wait. You know, tax planning should be a thing you're doing all year long. Like somebody asked me yesterday, you know, when should I start collecting my tax records? That should be a constant process. But people always wait till the last minute. But there's certain things that you can do. Remember, taxes, there are not a lot of things you can do after the year ends. There's actually very few. Once the book closes on December 31st, you're pretty much locked into everything. For example, one big one where people are confused on Roth conversions. Roth conversions are great, you know, if it's right for you to move from a tax-deferred account to a tax-free account, and you do have to pay the tax. But now would be the great time to look at it. I'm not saying everybody should do a Roth conversion, but now would be the time to look or have a conversation with your tax advisors, because as we get into the fourth quarter, you have a better estimate of what your income will be for the year. And that's important because you want to know what a Roth conversion will cost, because Roth conversions are permanent. They cannot be undone anymore. There's no backsies. There used to be recharacterizations. You could undo it and reconvert. There's none of that anymore. No more second chances. So you will owe the tax on the amount you convert, even if your financial condition or situation changes next year at tax time when the bill comes due. Now, that should not deter you from doing a Roth conversion, because we're in probably the best tax environment you've ever seen in your life. Given the low rates compared to historically low rates compared to history going back years and years. And that's the key to a successful Roth conversion, to move the money when tax rates are the lowest. You get the most bang for your buck. Really, a Roth conversion is really just a big bet on where you think tax rates are going to go. I believe they're going to go up. You just look at the, you know, that 4-letter word, math, M-A-T-H. People think when I say a 4-letter word, I'm going to say kids. No, everybody knows that's a lousy investment. Where's the payoff there? You know, it used to be owning your own home. The American dream was to own your own home. Now it's getting the kids out of it.
I call them my 3 little Ferraris. That's what I call my kids, you know.
Well, so you got to look at the math. Look at our deficit and debt levels. That's why I believe tax rates are going up. Or to look at it another way, do you actually think your tax rates will go down anymore? So that's a good bet. But you have to project what amount is right for you. Maybe this is not a good year to convert, but this is the time to look at that conversation. Maybe the best move for everybody is over time, do a series of smaller annual conversions over time. So over time, you're building up in your Roth IRA. The reason I love Roth IRA is obviously because once the funds are in there, it's tax-free. Yes, you do have to pay some tax up front, but like with anything, you know, that's part of the game. There's some pain in anything. This is why I love root canals. People laugh at me, but because you get rid of the pain up front. As it is now, I'm already employing 4 different dentists, all right, just to get rid of the pain up front. I have my regular dentist, I have my root canal guy, the endodontist, but I'm past him. I got rid of all those teeth. Then I got to my periodontist with the implants, and then the oral surgeon takes everything else out, okay? But I get rid of the pain up front. It's what a Roth conversion is. People focus on what it costs up front, not the big long-term benefit. And it doesn't have to be done by year end, but if you want a Roth conversion to count for 2022, the funds have to leave the IRA by the end of the year. It doesn't work like a Roth or IRA contributions where you have until April 15th next year to make a contribution for the prior year. With conversions, if you want it for this year, it has to happen this year.
Which means, Ed, you've got some, I mean, you talked about planning first, right? Then you got to open the account, which means you can't do this on December 30th or December 31st.
No, don't even go there. I would get everything done by Thanksgiving. And the worst week to do anything is the last week of the year. I mean, that's where all the RMDs, all the financial transactions, the last minute stuff, and not only that, but in my experience, anybody at the banks or the custodians that know anything about this that could help you, though any of those people that know this stuff know another thing. They know to take that week off, and they're on vacation.
Well, and I'll tell you, even from our perspective, I think, and you, Ed, you know this already, a lot of the custodians will even tell you after December 15th, 17th or something.
Right, they have cutoff. You're right about
everything is just best efforts. We may get it done, we may not. We're seeing
I think
a lot
Fidelity and some of them actually announce cutoff dates for conversions, for RMDs, for certain transactions. That's a great point. I ought to have you on my show, but I don't even have a show, so that's good.
Well, if you do, I'd be happy to stand in the corner silently like I do on this one. We're seeing a lot of, talking about Roth conversions, we're seeing a lot of 401k plans now allow in-plan conversions. And those work just the same way. You don't have to, you don't have to take a distribution.
But you will owe the tax. Too many people get stuck on the upfront. I made a joke about the pain and the dentist, but that's what it costs. But if you can get that money out at rock bottom tax rates on sale rates, I mean, this is the way to do it, to have a longer term big picture and have the Roth start accumulating tax-free in your favor. Because if you don't do anything, you might say, well, I'll just ignore it so my IRA will keep growing. But you have a tax problem growing. Every day it goes up. Your balance increases. It also increases for Uncle Sam. And so the problem doesn't go away. More of it ends up with the government long term. Another dentist thing, one of my dentists has a sign. She has a sign in her office: ignore your teeth and they'll go away.
Yeah, and from a tactical
IRAs, you can't ignore. So what? You're not like saving money by ignoring the growth. At some point, you will be forced to take that money out, whether you want to or not. At age 72, maybe at a higher balance, maybe at a higher rate, leaving you with less when you need it most in retirement when the paychecks stop. So that's something you can do before year end. RMDs have to be done, like Eugene there says, before the cutoff. Josh, I see the OG, but he goes, and you said that's not Original Gangster?
Well, it is Original Gangster.
No,
also,
it's other guy.
I just learned that, by the way. My kids were telling me something, and I didn't know the lingo, the OG. Oh, yeah, that's like the real deal, I guess it means.
Well, some people, Ed, would consider you the OG.
Oh, yeah. OG. I go through this with my daughter all the time because she's a millennial and I'm a baby boomer. In fact, last year, for some reason, she was with me. I had to go to the bank, so I'm walking over to the bank from my office with her. And on the way there, she said, Dad, the only people that go to banks anymore are old people like you. Everybody does mobile deposits. And I said, you know what? You may have a point. That may be true. But you know who else goes to the bank? People with money.
People with money. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Ed, I got a couple questions before we say goodbye. Number one is, I know that with itemized deductions, for most people listening to this show, they kind of went bye-bye. But is there anything that the average person can do now to reduce that tax bill before the end of the year, that for this year's taxes right now?
Well, you're right about that. According to that's a great point too. According to the IRS statistics, you know that 90% of taxpayers take the standard deduction now.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people can't get over that high hurdle, and a big part of that is the limit of the $10,000 for real estate taxes. You know, I'm in New York. That buys you about 3 days. So, I mean, you know, so you're limited. So you don't really, unless you have really big medical or really big charitable, you're going to be taking a standard deduction. But here's something else you can do. If you're charitably inclined, chances are you're not getting any tax benefit for the gifts you make to charities and churches and schools and hospitals and things like that. If you qualify, and not everybody does, look into a QCD, Qualified Charitable Distribution. It's a great way to get a better than an itemized deduction. You get an exclusion from income. It's better than a deduction. The only negative part about it is that it's not available to enough people. It's only available to IRA owners and beneficiaries who are 70 and a half years old or older. Not 72. The Secure Act changed the RMD age to 72, but they left this qualified charitable distribution age at 70 and a half. So if you are in that, you're especially if you're taking RMDs from your IRA, you can transfer. If you were going to give, say, $5,000 to a charity, you could transfer that $5,000 right from your IRA to the charity, and it would count towards your RMD and be excluded from income. That's a great benefit that most people miss. Again, that would have to be done before year end to get it in for year end.
Yeah, to get it in this year. My last question is: there's a really good-looking book behind you as we look at you on the shortwave.
How did that get there? Subliminal advertising.
Tell us a little bit about that book. It must be written by a friend of yours.
That's the whole shebang. The new retirement savings time bomb. Tax bomb. I mean, it's that's what an IRA is. I'm sorry to say, I'll keep showing the book, but it's a ticking tax time bomb. Say that 3 times fast. This is the guide to make the tax rules work for you rather than against you. The rules are working against everyone because most people have their money in tax deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks. They're just a tax bill waiting to happen. Every time your account goes up, part of it is owed right back to Uncle Sam or the IRS. And you're not going to keep all of that money. So you have to do things. That's why I mentioned the Roth conversion, to get some of that money out while rates are low. It's a trap because, that's how the system was started. I wish, like the young people today, I say to every young people, don't even bother with an IRA or 401k. Use only Roth IRAs and only Roth 401ks at work. Imagine if we could have been able to build our retirement savings from $1 accruing and accumulating tax-free. They have that opportunity. So for people watching or listening here, for your children or grandchildren, those millennials I make fun of, they have the opportunity of a lifetime. The greatest money-making asset anyone can possess is time. And they have more of it than anyone else, but they have to capitalize on it. So that's a great move to help people, to encourage people to do Roths or switch over at work or Roth IRAs. The deduction isn't worth anything. Plus, you have to give it back. Think about it this way. The IRA is an IOU to the IRS.
Yeah, later.
Put that on a T-shirt.
You're investing. I remember you told me one time, Ed, you're like, it's not yours, it's yours and the government's, and you're growing it for both of you.
I do a lot of crossword puzzles. Matter of fact, I have one here. And a clue came up, and it was a sharer's word was the clue. And the answer was hours. So it gave me an idea. I used it at a seminar a week or two ago. Hours, you don't want your IRA from the government point of view to be ours. Why? Put a Y in front of it. Make it yours. Move it to tax-free territory. You don't want to share. The problem is we were all taught wrong. For me, it began in kindergarten when I was 5. Today as a grandparent, you may relate to this, I don't know, but there's like 10 levels below kindergarten. I started at 5 years old. Now, as a grandparent, you can go to 10 graduations before the kid's 3 years old.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And then you go, I'm so proud. You move from 2.5 to 3. They don't even know you exist. But here's the problem. When I learned or started in kindergarten, we were all taught wrong. We were taught about sharing. Well, that sounds nice. That's okay for your toys, your crayons, and your snacks, but not your money. There is no obligation for you to share your hard-earned IRA or 401k with the government. There's a plan. Most people don't have a plan. They just let it happen to the. So this book, the theme here is to move from forever tax to never tax. Get your plan, not the government plan, and make the tax laws work for you rather than against you.
It's also tough that it says the best IRA advice, Wall Street Journal, on the top. That's got to be.
Oh, yeah, you saw that?
Yes. Yeah, best source of IRA advice. Ed, I've told you this before, brother, but I wish you were passionate about this. If you were passionate about taxes, this career might work for you. It might be good. Ed Slott, thanks for joining us, man, helping stackers with year-end tax planning.